Hey everybody, Dane Clement here with Stalls. What I'm going to do really quick today is just kind of show a uh, an alternative to Photoshop. I know my last videos, I'm a Photoshop guy. I love Photoshop and I hate Adobe. So there you go. So if you hate Adobe as well and hate paying 50 whatever it is dollars a month for that subscription, they do have rock solid alternatives. Now they're all not exactly Photoshop, but some are really close. And my favorite is Affinity Photo. So what I want to do is go ahead and show how that works. Now let's see. Do I need to present my screen or did I do it already? Somebody in the background there is gonna have to tell me because I don't have any buttons. So hopefully you guys can see my screen now, right? This is Photoshop. And this is the default workspace, right? So I'm just gonna essentials workspace. That's the one I like, but I customize it. I do change it. So really quick, I'm gonna kind of walk through what Photoshop's interface looks like, and then we'll do a Affinity Photo interface as well. So over here on the left-hand side is all your tools, right? So when you click on a tool, if you notice this top bar, it's called the options bar, that changes. And what that means is everything, any tool that I select on the left, I can adjust and control that tool here up at the top in the options bar. So knowing that, right, just click a tool and this is what you can do with it, right? So uh, before I touch anything else, let's go ahead and go into Affinity Photo. And this is sort of the same thing, right? This is what I think, this is my favorite alternative to Photoshop. I think it's rock solid. I know it's rock solid because I've been using it or teaching on it a little bit. I don't use it every day. I mean, I'm using all kind of stuff these days, but I do it. I use a. I can get anything I need to get done in my daily job that I did in Photoshop for 30 years. I can do in here, except the AI piece of it. Right, that new component is not in there. But of course, that's the part that everybody's pissed off at Photoshop for or Adobe for, right? So over here on the left hand side, if you see the tools, they're cooler looking because they're color, and I'm a color guy. So if you click on a tool here, same thing. You got an options bar going across the top that allows you to control what that tool does. Right, that's all that's telling you. So what I'm going to do before I touch the interface, because I'm going to really quickly show you how to create a new file. So if I go in the file, new, right, I'll get this window here, and I'm in Affinity Photo, as you can see here. So, and this is very similar. So I can click on these things. I can, choose a web. I always go to print, but typically I'm going to go ahead and create my own, right? So at the bottom of this thing, I click on the layout and I go to 14 inches by 14 inches at 300 DPI. I want to make sure I click this color button as well here, and I want to use RGB. I like to use Adobe RGB 1998, but a lot of times I'll use the sRGB just depending on what I'm doing and what the job's going to be for, right? And then that's a high res file, so I can do anything I want. I always check my transparent background, and then I go ahead and click create, and here I am, right? So let's do the same thing in Photoshop. I'm going to jump over to Photoshop. I'm going to go to File, New. And the same sort of thing, right? So across the top hand, you got the you save stuff, photos, print, art, illustration, web stuff, same things as an Affinity Photo. I'm gonna go to my print stuff. Here's the typical ones, right? It's letter, legal, tabloid, that sort of thing. But I'm gonna ignore all that stuff. You don't need to. Once you create it, you can save it in there and you just go to your save stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and go to inches here, and I'm gonna make mine 14 by 14, right? 300 pixels per inch, RGB color. I don't like white on my background. I want a transparent background always, because it just saves me a step of, kind of a headache work later on. So I'm going to do that, and I hit create, and there it is, right? So I have transparent pixels here, and I go back to Affinity Photo, and I have transparent pixels here. And you can see that by those gray and white checkers. It's very similar. And that's kind of what I want to show you. I just want to show the similarities really quickly in these two. So I'm going to go back to Photoshop here, and I'm going to set up this interface the way I like it, right? So if I go to like I showed you, I'm going to go to Windows, Workspace, and this is my Essentials default. I like my layers in there. I like my color always available to me. But this whole panel, if I was going to use a lot of the AI stuff, the generative fill things, I would leave the adjustments. I mean, properties panel open, but I'm going to shut it for now because most times I keep it closed anyway. And this is it. This is what I like. I like my layers handy, and I like my color wheel handy. Right at the bottom, when I want an adjustment layer, I got all that stuff sitting here, so I can just quickly grab it there. I could always add the adjustment panel in there if I wanted to. So basically, this is the interface that I use all the time, right? So I'm going to go right back to Affinity Photo, and this is you know, a similar thing, right? So I go to Window, and I come down to Studio, right? This Studio here is on the right-hand side. I got my layers there. I got my navigation panel. I don't use any of this stuff in here, so I'm going to kind of pull this out, right? Just like Photoshop, and go ahead and delete it. So now I'm going to click on the color at the top. So I got my color wheel, my layers, and look at the bottom here. I got my adjustment stuff if I wanted it, just like Photoshop. I'm going to do like that just to center. That was Command or Control 0, by the way. It will center everything on your screen. So right now, if I had to do something, I would be ready to go. So my interface looks the same. It operates almost the same. Like most of the shortcuts, almost all the shortcuts are exactly the same. That sort of thing right out of the gate. I mean, you can customize those things as well, but let's just do something really quick. So if I want to change the color of this yellow car, right, what I would do is come down here, and I would go to my my adjustments levels here. I'm going to go to HSL, right, and that's my hue, saturation, and lightness. So if I want to change just the yellow in here, which is what I want to do, I'm going to click on my yellow button, right? Like if I was going to change any of the other colors, which might, you know, they're not, obviously this is a really yellow car. So I'm going to click on yellow. You can see it focuses in on that family of color. And I'm just going to move it to find something that I like, right? So if I'm looking for a red car or something, you know, maybe I'm doing that. I can saturate it up a little bit more, desaturate it, whatever you want to do. Just go ahead and leave it. Now, I can just go ahead and X this window out, or I can merge that adjustment into my original. For those of you that like to work non-destructively, then just go ahead and X out the window, and you can see the adjustment layer stays above the art layer, right? I like to merge them personally, but there you go. Just like Photoshop, it's you can work on your original, or you can, you know, go ahead and keep it non-destructive. Going to Photoshop here, right? Let's go ahead and pull that same car up. I can do it the same way. I can do like this and go to hue, saturation, and I'll get my window, right? Now, right here, I'm going to tell Photoshop to focus on my yellows. I kind of like my little dots and stuff on the other side of this. Think it's cooler. And again, I can change my color just like that. I told Photoshop focus on the yellows. Just give me that. And there I go, right? So I can go ahead and click out of that. And again, it's sitting right on top of my original non-destructively. If you want to know more, I will have a handout that you guys can download for free. Go to daneclement.com. And it'll be there. It's not there right now. I got to put it up there. I haven't had a chance. I'm super mega busy right now, but I will get it up today. Or shoot me an email, dane@daneclement.com, and I'll email it to you. Right. So either one, it's there, it's free, and it's ready to go. So that's all I got today. I hope it shows you that you don't have to be stuck with Photoshop, although it is awesome. I just wish Adobe was awesome.